Hey there, folks, and welcome back to the CLD Corner. My name is Dr. Jason Pugh, and today we're going to talk about writing with Pat. Who's Pat? No. What's Pat? Pat is a concept designed in our Writing for the Business Professional course within our CLD program. And so when we're talking about writing, the idea of what we're focusing on is knowing where to start. And where we start is with Pat. PAT stands for purpose, audience, and tone. First, when you are writing, you need to make sure you're paying attention to the mission. Why are we writing the document? What is our intention in completing this document? Whether it's an agenda, whether it's a proposal, whether it's a report, maybe it's an email. But what is our purpose? What is the message we are trying to convey? Sometimes sitting down and knowing in advance what it is we're trying to accomplish will allow us to streamline our thoughts and keep everything to that mission. In addition, we have to make sure that there's audience. And not only that, but when we talk about audience, we have to make sure our message from purpose is aligned with our audiences in the way that they're going to receive the message. How do we ensure both of those are met? For tone. Tone is the attitude in which we write. So if we know why we're writing, who it is we're trying to make sure is receiving the information, and how are we coming across in the message, what's going to start to happen is when we have this funnel of cloud that is just kind of getting in our way in the way we want to get our message across, these three concepts allow us to streamline and get to the point. More clear and more concise in our writing. And so first, with purpose, any sort of business writing, form follows function. If you know the function in which you're writing, the form will follow. For example, if you're writing a report, you're going to want to focus on facts, details, information that supports a particular idea. So you're not going to try to be persuasive. You're not going to try to be entertaining. You're strictly going to be informative in your writing. However, if you're trying to write an email in order to lift somebody's spirits, you might make it a little bit more entertaining or more persuasive. If you're writing a sales proposal, you're certainly going to want to be persuasive. And so if the function is to persuade, the form will follow. But we have to know why we are writing. What is it that we want to achieve? In addition, by knowing your purpose, you stay streamlined from beginning to end. You know where you're starting, and anything that doesn't align with that throughout the entire message is going to not be included. Next, we have to pay close attention to our audience. And with the audience, it's not just about making sure that we're respecting their time, but we're respecting their communication style. We are tailoring our message to other people and the way that they speak. So for example, if my direct manager or VP or director is somebody that is very short, very succinct, and is very logical in their writing, I'm going to focus on introducing more bullet points. I'm going to bring in more numbers and data, because not only am I going to respect this person's time, I'm going to respect this person's desire for information. And that's where I'm going to lead. So if I'm writing a sales proposal and my audience is very logical, I'm going to strictly bring in numbers, data, and facts. Whereas if I'm writing an email and the person is a little bit more what we call touchy-feely, but a little bit more inside their own emotions, we're going to elaborate a little bit more. We're going to convey the feeling behind the information that we're showing. We're going to truly bring out those persuasive elements. That's how we know we can be aligned in our message. And so what ties everything together, folks, is that you've got to watch your tone. And by using an appropriate tone, folks, we make sure that the message isn't sending mixed signals. Are we being very serious? Are we trying to invoke action? Are we trying to just inquire? Are we trying to simply be friendly in our tone? What is it that we have to make sure our message happens? What happens with this message? So we have to consider position. What position are we coming from? What is our personality? If I'm a little bit more bubbly, I might be a hair more friendly in my delivery. However, I'm also going to consider my audience. It could be gender, culture, ethnicity. Many factors focus on what it is we are trying to accomplish. You know, if we're working with our IT team, they are very busy and they are coding and they understand things in linear formats. So that's the way we need to make sure our tone is addressed. We don't need a 14-page description of everything. We can be more succinct. So PAT is purpose, audience, and tone. And so I have an example here that I like to use. I have one example on the left, and I want us to understand this example that, you know, we have Dr. Jason Pugh, also known as Jay, writing to Ann Reynolds. And so Ann is, let's say in this case, a manager for our building. You know, they are somebody that needs to make sure that with the entryway that there is a wheelchair accessible, that there is wheelchair accessibility. And so this is from the Harvard Business Review as an example, and I highly recommend it. I think it's a great read. But the idea on the first example is that we're just inquiring. So we're going to be more friendly. We're going to ask more questions. We're going to give more benefit of the doubt. And we're certainly going to send many thanks in the email. We're complimenting, hey, it looks incredible. We appreciate the work you put in. However, we notice there's no accommodations, and that is an important code requirement. So we give benefit of the doubt. We say, hey, maybe I'm jumping the gun, but we're going to be friendly, which means also in our message, in our greeting, and on our salutation, we're going to be a little bit more informal. Now, on the right example, we're going to be a little bit more formal. We're going to be a little bit more abrupt. We're going to get to the point because we need action taken. It's been 4 weeks. We need to make sure that this accommodation is going to be put in. It seems like the work is done. This could be a good faith error, but it needs addressed. And before we can pay somebody else, we need to make this a priority. So we're going to be more formal. We're seeking action. We're not being rude, but we're being direct. And so we're going to use Miss Reynolds. We're going to use respectfully in our salutation. We're not going to say take care. We're going to be a little bit more formal. And so these two kinds of approaches allow us to know how to start and how to stay streamlined with the mission. That is what PAT does, folks. It allows us to streamline our vision and to follow through. And so, folks, I just want to remind you that New Horizons has been doing this for 20 years. We've been teaching business writing for a long time. Our CLD program really starts to deep dive into writing for the business professional and 25 other courses to help your people succeed. We have nearly 50 to 60 post-class resources for additional guidance, and we are here to help. So for more information, please reach out to your account executive or your educational consultant. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next CLD Corner.